Thanks to Tom Garland over here. We've been doing this at mainly the Pike since the month of May. This is the fifth, what I call the rock and roll class. If anybody has a suggestion what to rename it other than the rock and roll class number 5, cell block number 5, let me know, and I'll use it and not even credit you. If somebody has a great idea for this class, please share. Okay, what this consists of, to you veteranos, this will be no news, but I play records and I talk about them, and some of this stuff is actually accurate, and the records are from the late 40s to the period just before, well, even after the Beatles, some great records came out. I play some hits, some records, some actually decent records came out. So what else is there to say? Oh, by the way, there's a filmmaker here. So if you're going to be on John Walsh's The Hunt tonight, best to duck around back. Or if you have a good rock and roll story, something happened to you in terms of rock and roll in the day, and you want to be in this sure to be award-winning documentary, talk to Michael over here with the pink hat on. Pink hat? Pink hat? He hasn't, he's from
Oldies
Brazil.
radio.
Yeah. How'd Brazil do in the World Cup, Michael? Oh, well, that's okay.
It was an awakening experience.
I bet it was. I don't think there's any soccer t-shirts left in this. Okay, so without further ado, I want to introduce in a big hand. I met this guy at a record show. I can't remember. Did you go to Westdale Savings or did you start? Okay, there was Capitol Record, the so-called Capitol Record Tower record meet in the shadow of the Capitol Record Tower in some parking lot near Hamburger Henry's and Hamburger Hamlet, because there's a Hamburger Henry's in London. Back in the, I guess it was the 60s, huh? Are we that 70s?
I moved here in 79.
Okay, well then it was in, how could that be? You were here, I was here. Then somebody was representing himself as you, but I remember meeting you at the record meet, the record swap meet, and you shoved me out of the way. I won't use 45. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, big name in the music business. I'm not going to detail what he's responsible for. I'll let him do this, but big hand please. And he's going to play his picks for, you know, class like this. Mr. Billy Vera.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Well, I figure since you're all friends of Steve's that, why did you put that in my sleeve? Since you're all friends of Steve's, that I'm assuming that you're all knowledgeable folks, so I'm not going to play you a bunch of hits. But when Steve asked me to come and speak to you, I said, what the heck am I going to do, you know? And I said, I've always been kind of interested in the music that came before rock and roll. You know, in those 3 or 4 years just prior, that rock and roll, rhythm and blues, or country boogie, or all these different idioms were coming together, and bringing the music up the socioeconomic ladder very slowly, until when the Beatles came, of course. Then by that time the affluent kids had discovered music with a beat. So I'll start with it. I always figure start with something they know to hook them. So this gentleman wrote a book called what was the name of the first rock and roll record, or variation of that? What was the first rock and roll record? And when I was coming up in New York, where I grew up, everybody said this was it. But believe me, there is no first rock and roll record. So I guess you want me to play these, huh? You want me to touch this? So this is a famous one that you probably know, The Crows, from Harlem, USA, my old home.
You hear it okay?
A little